welcome to Afterwards. I'm your host, DigitalBloxed. Now, I hope you've been keeping cool out there with excessive heat waves coming and going, because I, for one, am not. It's literally 90 degrees in my room. I have every single fan blowing at my face at full speed, and my electricity bill is also blowing me away. It's been a month, and the heat has not gone down by any means, which means I'm better off dead. Damn you, deep state! Some tell me to just let it go, but I can't. Speaking of letting it go, the leaky Rudolph Giuliani will find it quite difficult to practice law. Washington, D.C. has joined New York in disbarring the Trump lawyer and failed makeup artist who delivers his speeches at a landscaping firm next to a dildo shop. I'll never let that go. Now, speaking of disgraced leaky clowns, Trump is in the news after coming out with a phony class action lawsuit against Facebook, Google, Twitter, and YouTube. Will it go anywhere? No. But is he still the same deranged man? Yes. His lawsuit against these tech companies is how they infringed on his First Amendment rights to spew false claims, cause deadly insurrections, and try to overthrow democracy. The only thing Trump will learn very quickly is that the First Amendment allows private companies to, run their companies how they want, which includes them enforcing their terms of service that everyone agrees to when making an account. Now, the sun has affected a lot of people, but also companies like Johnson & Johnson. I hope I didn't mix them up. Is it Johnson & Johnson or Johnson & Johnson? It's the same? Okay, I thought so. So the company recalled 5 of its sunscreen products because they contain elevated traces of benzene, a chemical that causes cancer with repeated exposure. And here I thought you put on sunscreen to protect your skin from cancer. The affected products, packaged in aerosol cans, are Aveeno Protect Plus Refresh Aerosol Sunscreen, and 4 Neutrogena sunscreen versions, which are Beach Defense Aerosol Sunscreen, Cool Dry Sport Aerosol Sunscreen, Invisible Daily Defense Aerosol Sunscreen, and Ultra Sheer, you guessed it, Aerosol Sunscreen. With names like that, I wouldn't be surprised that they give you cancer. Now, benzene is one of the most studied and concerning human carcinogens known to science. So how did it get into the products? We don't know. What we also don't know is why Coca-Cola is changing the flavor of their soda. I mean, come on, have you not learned from your mistakes back in the 80s? Apparently, the company promised, quote, an even more iconic Coke taste for its new version of Coke Zero, in which, of course, Zero stands for zero fucks given. My prediction is that it will flop, just like everything that Coca-Cola does, until they add the cocaine back into it. But until that happens, I'll just have to stick to Bloxy Cola. A refreshing taste of fake cola that you can drink into your chest. So, this is interesting. US troops are expected to be pulled out of Afghanistan by August. It'll be the biggest move in a war that was fought for over 20 years and still has gone nowhere. Now, Trump originally had the idea, but, I guess it wasn't his priority from the election scandal. I can just smell the far right blaming Joe Biden for taking all the credit for pulling out of Afghanistan. Something Trump doesn't know how to do. Keyword, pulling out. Speaking of the former self-proclaimed presidential election winner, the man is still bragging how he, quote, aced his dementia test. To which I reply, yay. Now, there is something that recently came up, and it's that my predictions were true. Donald John Trump reportedly praised Hitler, saying, quote, well, Hitler did a lot of good things. I wasn't lying when I called Trump supporters the far-right conservative Nazis. Now, what's shocking to me is that Trump wanted troops to, quote, beat the out of, shoot, and crack the skulls of civil rights protesters who assembled following the police killing of George Floyd. And that's not all. He reportedly called US troops who died in World War I, quote, losers and suckers. I think we all heard that though. Yeah. And that was all during his trip to France to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. And that's it. We have a great show for you tonight. My guest is a 2-time Bloxy Award winner, Alvin Blox. But coming up, I will teach you how to make your very first home using Roblox Studio. Stick around.
You're a real colonel, right?
Play Defeat the Dark Side. Get a game medallion and you could win one of millions of prizes instantly. Even a Star Wars speeder. Only at Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC.
Need brakes? Now during the Midas $40 lifetime brakes rebate, save $20 per axle or $40 for your whole car. Lifetime guaranteed $40 in savings right now. Go safely. Go Midas.
I'm at the Conway's home where we're about to put new DuPont Stainmaster carpet to the test with racing champion Jeff Gordon.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Jeff was a little too much for the carpet, but for ordinary traffic in your home, nothing performs better than DuPont Stainmaster. Right now, save big during the Stainmaster Savings 500 sweepstakes. You could even win a Corvette. Race in now to a participating carpet retailer.
Hi, welcome back. So today we're going to build a home. The first thing you want to do is insert a block, like so. Next, we will resize the block so it matches what a home will look like. Keybinds are always good to know, but because I can never remember them, we will just right click on everything. Damn, it's a slow process, but it'll all pay off in the end. Believe me. God damn it, why am I still making the window frame? Next, we will duplicate this whole wall right here and move it to the other side. It's always good to measure out the distance, but because I am good at this, we won't do that. We can then build what will be the second floor. Who needs symmetry? This is a low-class neighborhood. Time to build up the wall. Now we will just put a window on the other side. Everything is matching up well so far. Just ignore the small bits being off, as it won't be a problem. The structure will be very strong on its own. Next, we will have a doorway to make. It's always important to make the doorway the same size as the window. But looking at my notes, it says not to do that. So let's change that up. Next, we will put a carpet in the home. The carpet is, of course, off of Craigslist. We also want to make sure that you can get upstairs, so sticking with our budget, we will just make one giant block going up. Then, we'll make the rooms and furnish it. Next, we will open up the free model section because don't ask any questions, okay? Then, I'll put down a light so bright that you need sunglasses inside. Seeing that we don't want to kill people, we will turn down the brightness. Then, we will stretch the whole thing across the whole roof, as it will help the structure in keeping things together. Lastly is the roof. And now comes the time to see our hard work pay off. And here it is. What? Oh my god! I just made this so structurally sound and the whole thing just fell apart. Oh, this won't look good on the housing market. Screw this. We'll be right back with our guest Alvin Blox. Oh my god, what the f? So why did you drop the extra X at the end of your username? What are you hiding?
There are at least 100 questions every homebuyer should ask. Like, how much down payment do I need? Can I buy a $200,000 home with an FHA loan? Do I really need homeowners insurance? Luckily, HUD's FHA has the answers. We've helped 25 million Americans buy a home. Call for a free brochure.
This is long-lasting makeup, but it's no match for the new Biore Facial Cleansing Cloth. Biore cloths have special hydroweave fibers to trap dirt in makeup, lifting it away without rinsing. For an absolute clean you can see. Biore, clean, honest.
We're all looking for stories with happy endings, like Brandon and Lori, Catherine. Women that have run their own race against breast cancer. Now they're running with thousands of others in Race for the Cure events to raise awareness and money for breast cancer education and research. That's why Ford Division supports Race for the Cure. Because of all the racing we do, this is one race that has to be won.
Well, he didn't call.
He's probably not over his last girlfriend.
Sounds like the Peter Pan syndrome.
I think he's intimidated by intelligence.
Girl, you are a threat to his manhood.
Oh, yeah.
He obviously has issues with his mother.
Is it possible that he's just not interested?
No!
The Honda Civic. Where will it take you? Now you can lease a 99 Civic LX sedan for $179 a month for 36 months.
Hey, welcome back, folks. You know, it is such an honor to have a guest who inspires and teaches a lot of people on Roblox how to script. He's a 2-time Bloxy Award winner for community contribution. His YouTube channel has over 350,000 subscribers. He's the only Alvin that's not from the Chipmunks. Please welcome Alvin Blox. Hey, Alvin.
Hey, great to be on. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Welcome to Afterwards. Finally, I should say. Now, this is a true story. Alvin was booked for almost 6 months, I believe. How are you?
It's all good. I never forgot about you. It's, like I said, it's great to be on, and you got a really great setup here. It's, looking really professional, and this is
thank you.
A really great little show you've got. So we're very happy to be on.
Well, thank you for the kind compliments. Now, I know that I said that you're not Alvin from the Chipmunks, but I wonder now, how did you come up with your username?
That's a good question. I am actually a fan of, I say I'm a fan. I was a fan of Alvin and the Chipmunks. When I set up my account when I was very young, and I think actually on the day I created my account, I think I might have watched it, or it was I'd watched it very close to around when I created my account. So I always had it in my mind of like what name I wanted to use. So I came up with the name Alvin 1104, and I kind of stuck with the Alvin Blox ever since when I turned it into Alvin Blox. Alvin 1104 is not the most professional of names, so I thought adding on changing it to Alvin Blox and adding on that Blox just makes it sound a little bit more professional and easier to remember. So yeah,
it does. Okay, so why did you drop the extra X at the end of your username? Because it used to be Alvin Blox with 2 X's. What are you hiding?
Well, I'm hiding the fact that Alvin Blox wasn't available at the time as a username. Alvin_Blox was, and I got that username, but I did use Alvin Blox with 2 X's on the end for a long time. But it's a good thing now, that we've got the display name, so I can be Alvin Blox in any Roblox game. Yeah. So it's kind of eliminated that problem for me, and it's good that it's not well. I know there's a couple of people who you can impersonate, but it is quite hard to impersonate people with the new display names, and thankfully Alvin Blox is one of the names which you can't copy and use and to try and impersonate people. But yeah,
thank God for display names. Now I gathered that you're working on some game, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm working on a game called Hotel Tycoon at the moment. So it's been in development for 3 years. So we're nearing the completion now. That's what's been taking up most of my time, especially when you've got to balance it with making videos. But yeah, I'm working on that. It's going very well, and I've learned a lot from it. And yeah, looking forward to getting out there and getting out to the public. Getting everyone's thoughts on it, and people being able to experience what is basically one of my first ever big game releases.
Now 3 years, that's quite a long time, I should say.
It is for a Roblox game, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a date for its release?
We don't really want to publicize a date yet, just because we don't want to have to push back a little bit more. We want to be totally confident in when we want to release it. But 3 years. I mean, it is a long time. But you think about it, all the things that you've learned on the way. How to code data stores and how to make a sophisticated systems to launch a game, to have thousands of players. This is the kind of thing that you don't want to get wrong. You don't want to have to release the game and then have thousands of problems or people lose their data or lose the things they've purchased. So you've got to get it right, and I think that's one of the main reasons why it's taken so long. I want to perfect this. I want it to, not to be perfect, but it needs to be in a good enough state to release and to release swiftly without any problems or hiccups along the way.
Now you're mainly known for your scripting tutorials that you put out on YouTube, and I want to ask, when you start filming a tutorial, do you do your script research beforehand or like testing before you actually start the tutorial?
Yeah, it depends on the tutorial. When I do series of videos, so big projects such as how to make a piggy game or how to make, for example, a game like Tower Defense Simulator, right? That's just an example, but I want to make sure that because those series are likely to get a lot of traction, a lot of views, a lot of people looking at this, especially people who are new to Roblox and might not understand what a bug means if a bug appears in the code or something updates on Roblox and you have to change something or you have to go to a different menu is what it looks in the tutorial. So I want to make sure that they're future proof to an extent. I want to make sure that that they're around and they're going to be working for years to come, because I think that's kind of the duty that I have in making these tutorials, in that I'm bringing in the new generation of Roblox developers, and these videos need to last for a long time. They need to, be able to work for a long time. And I put a lot of effort into the series, so I don't want to release a series and then have to come back to it in 6 months or a year just to fix something. So a lot of work does go into those behind the scenes in developing the project and developing the game before I start recording. Most of the time that the project's actually finished and I've made it myself already. Before I create it from scratch again. But that just allows me to, be totally confident that nothing's going to go wrong with them, and I can have confidence in that when someone says there's a bug, 99% of the time it's going to be of their own doing in terms of a typo or something rather than something I've done. So those videos, yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into them, and especially scripting it to the letter in terms of what we're going to do. But for general tutorials, such as how to script for beginners, or how to make small things such as a live counter, or a rocket, or so, things like that, which are generally smaller tutorials, I usually do on the fly and just go with the flow, because I'm quite good at just being able to explain something and move on and keep track in my head of what's going on, especially with just scripting something from scratch.
But is scripting hard from your point of view?
I wouldn't say it's hard. It's like learning a language. I mean, once you've immersed yourself in it, for a long period of time, and you've got to know the basics, then it's not hard. I think the hardest thing about it is just memorizing what different aspects of scripting are for. What's a variable for, what's an event for, what's a function. I think a lot of people, they try to memorize scripts, and they try to memorize code line by line, but what you should be doing actually is learning what individual aspects are for, why you might decide to use one thing or over another, and that way you're kind of developing knowledge in terms of how to why things are used, rather than why does this line say this, why does that line say that, because every script's going to be different. You could write some code to do something 10 times over a period of 10 years, and say you were to do it each year, you're probably going to have 10 different files, completely different lines of code in each one, because there's loads of different ways to do things. You don't have to script a game a certain way and have the code exactly the same. You could code a game 10 times, and each one, like I said, could have completely different code. So it's more about learning why you use certain things, and where aspects of scripting can be implemented and used, rather than trying to memorize. It'd be like trying to memorize a dictionary of words, instead of actually just learning the important words or most commonly used words in a language. I like to refer to that quite a lot, because it's true. You can't just learn a language by memorizing a dictionary. You've got to immerse yourself in it, and you've got to not only focus on the scripting, but there's other aspects to it as well, such as problem solving. A lot of people, they'll find a bug and they'll think that they're just not good enough to solve it, and scripting isn't for them. But you've got to develop the problem solving skills. Like 5 years ago, I'd encounter a problem, and I probably wouldn't be able to fix it. Whereas now, it's probably something small which I could fix in 5 minutes. But if you're new to scripting, it kills your motivation. So I think problem solving is probably the biggest part of scripting, but it's overlooked a lot, and people just think that you've got to remember script, you've got to be good at writing code, and that's not the whole part of scripting. That there's much more to it.
Because I tried scripting a while back, but it's just not for me. As you said, it's like learning a dictionary, and I don't understand it. But yeah. So talking about books, are you thinking of writing a book? Just the basics of like Roblox scripting or whatnot.
I've definitely thought about writing a book. It's something that I would like to do at some point. I don't really have the time now, but yeah, there's definitely been some interest from me in doing that. I think that what I've probably avoided doing, I've had loads of years to write a book, so why haven't I done one? Surely I would have had some free time. I think the one thing that kind of puts me off writing a book is the fact that it could get outdated quite quickly, and like I said earlier, I tried to make all of my content future proof. And yeah, I think you could do a beginner's book for sure. I don't think that's going to change very much. But especially with the new Roblox Luau coming out, there's a lot of new things that they're introducing to the scripting language, like easier ways to do things. For example, to add numbers. It's much they've added things such as if you were to increase a value of something, instead of having to say value equals value plus 1, you can now just say value plus equals 1. It saves, it's good in terms of performance as well. They've done a lot of performance enhancing things to the language. But yeah, scripting languages always change. New things are always added. So that's kind of been the thing that's put me off doing one, because you can't go back and change a book once it's on the shelves. And I think there's also a lot of other methods of learning scripting. Like there's loads of free resources on the web. I try to keep most of my content free to access a huge to try and get my content out to as many people as possible, because I want to help as many people learn how to script. That's the ethos of me and my channel. I could have easily made a course available on paid websites, such as Udemy, etc. But I want my tutorials to be able to reach as many people as I can and help as many new developers, because that's essentially how I learned. I didn't pay anyone to learn how to script. I just learned completely from online resources and the Roblox wiki and YouTube videos. And I think that's the way, because it makes you have to teach yourself, and it makes you instill that self-motivation and desire, and you got to have the dedication to do it. And if you're dedicated, then there's a great chance that you're going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. You know that Roblox is planning to release some new material textures. What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, I'm not a builder or a modeler as such. I don't really pay attention to most of the features, but yeah, I mean, the platform's got to at some point kind of age up and kind of show to other engines that we're serious. We're here to compete with the biggest engines out there. And I think anything like that in terms of new materials or new clouds or improvements to graphics will just help to eliminate that stereotype that Roblox is just a kids game, because that's still around. We still have the majority of Roblox players are quite young, and we don't really have an older demographic for Roblox games yet. And I think that's crucial and integral to Roblox if they want to thrive in the long term. So yeah, any new materials, great for me. I can see some people might be opposed to them in terms of wanting the old Roblox to come back, but we've got to innovate. Roblox as an engine has got to move forwards. But I do think it's important to embrace old Roblox as well, and try not to get rid of, and try not to remove that, or try and distance ourselves from it. It's just like the R-Throw and R15 and an R6 debate. We've got to keep a part of Roblox here for the older generation. Let's say for the classic generation. I think David Baszucki said once, that he wants Roblox games 20 years from now to still work, and we can go back into those places and see what they were like, and he wants them to still work perfectly. So it's about creating that balance between old and new, and trying to make Roblox emerge among these game engines as being serious and able to compete with them. Yeah,
because as you said, I think it should be optional to choose from the default ones and the new ones, because some people like the old Roblox, some people like the new Roblox that Roblox is trying to put out. But you're no stranger to Roblox developer conferences. Have you been invited to it this year?
I'm not sure how the invites are working this year. I don't think they've been sent out yet, but yeah, usually I get to be invited and attend. Obviously, it's going to be a hybrid this year. Very much looking forward to that and seeing how it's going to work, because they did a real great job last year on the virtual conference. Having a hybrid one, for those who are going to the physical one, I won't be attending for obvious reasons. It is good for those who are local or who are able to go. But they're definitely not going to forget about those of us who won't be attending. I think that's something that I've always liked about RDC, is that they try to make you feel as welcome as possible. So yeah, really, really much looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend, although I think it is happening on a Thursday for the first time, for Thursday to Saturday. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Any idea what you will do in the future?
Well, obviously, I've got my YouTube channel. I'm not only just a Roblox developer solely. I do my YouTube as well. So I've got, two things on the go always. So I've got, I look at two different paths, when I'm thinking of goals and the things I want to achieve, I've always got two things to be dealing with. So in terms of YouTube, I've kind of already hit my goal. My main goal, once, I realized that, I had a great shot at inspiring loads of Roblox developers, was 100,000 subscribers, because no tutorial channel had ever done that. So that was my main goal. In regards to subscribers, I don't really, care as much as I do as I used to about subscribers. It's more about how many views are you getting, how many people are you able per month watching my videos and learning how to code. So in terms of YouTube, it'd be great to get 1 million subscribers. I mean, that's the main goal for any YouTube channel out there, to get the complementing golden plaque. But yeah, for me, it's just, I'm inspired more seeing people enjoy my content and learn things and seeing the success stories. Like if someone tweets me and says, your tutorials helped me launch this game and I've done my first DevX, or, I've been able to, fund a car or fund my schooling, that gives me much more joy and happiness than a subscriber number. Because sure, it's great to have subscribers, but at the end of the day, every new subscriber is someone watching my content, someone who wants to achieve a goal. And when I can see someone who has achieved that, that's really fulfilling for me. So yeah, that's my YouTube goal. I have thought about starting a second channel and doing, more, moving away from tutorials on a second channel, but you're definitely not stopping, doing more Roblox related content, more Roblox dev related content, more, concerning my own games and my experiences. So that will be something I'll look to set up, in not in the immediate future, but definitely, as my channel goes on. And in terms of Roblox dev, I obviously want to release my game. I want that to become successful. But just like I said with subscribers, I don't count, visit numbers or, revenue as the main thing behind a successful game. If I wanted to have a really great profiting game, I probably could have done it by now instead of spending 3 years working on this game solely. But I want to build up my knowledge of scripting. There's still things that I don't know how to do that I need to learn. I think any scripter would tell you the same. I think anyone who doesn't would probably be lying. So yeah, definitely release my first game. I want to create a couple more games as well. I don't know whether I'll want to be doing this in 5 years or 10 years time. Probably still as a hobby, but yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be releasing games all the time. I'd rather just, do maybe a couple of games, see how they go, and then decide on what I want to do next.
Well, thank you, Alvin. I can tell you was definitely worth waiting 6 months to finally sit down and talk to you. So again, thank you for coming on. Check out Alvin's YouTube channel, and as I said, he's a great scripter and an inspirational content creator. And also, check out his new game when it releases. Alvin Blox, everybody. Over and out.
Thanks very much, guys. Really enjoyed that.
Come to Circuit City for guaranteed low prices on top brands in every department. Right now at Circuit City, pay no interest for 12 months on select TVs, camcorders, appliances, and home and car audio. And get the Sony 8mm Handycam with night shot feature that records in total darkness for just $499.99 with no interest for 12 months. Don't miss the savings in every department right now at Circuit City.
Question. If you can have someone plan, design, build, operate, manage, and maintain your communications network around the clock, around the world, wouldn't you? Presenting Lucent Technologies NetCare. If you haven't thought about a better way to manage your network, it's time. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
Well, that's it for tonight. Good night.